Greetings, sending you all warm, positive vibrations. Just wanted to check in, just to have a short dialogue about sitting through it. And by sitting through it, what I mean is sitting through and with a lot of the uncomfortable emotions and thoughts that come up when we are triggered. So that's what we're going to have a discussion about. This can be very helpful when it comes to mindless eating, overeating. It is a very overlooked aspect of weight release, what most folks like to refer to as weight loss. I invite you to dig a little deeper and to explore or try to emphasize weight release. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Body-Culinary professional trainer, personal chef with a focus on whole, fresh living, unprocessed foods, and a natural lifestyle coach, nutrition or fitness midwife, per se. And on this channel, I share some of my journey of radical self-acceptance, really embracing and celebrating the natural features that I have been divinely assigned while here on this earth plane, as well as encouragement to 3 lifestyle practices. And those lifestyle practices are peaceful consumption, food that loves you back, garden therapy, as well as reactivating or starting and perhaps refining a personal movement practice. These lifestyle practices are leverage activities that really give you back so much more for your time than what you invested. They're leverage activities. So that's what we share on this channel. If you find value here, you are welcome to give the content a like, so that I can know if you're finding the content valuable. And feel free to share it with someone who gives you some motivation, or perhaps even press play or replay as you're cutting up fruits and vegetables, as you are stretching, perhaps as you're doing your movement practice or decluttering. So this is a wonderful leverage way to make more effective, efficient use of your time spent here on the internet. So welcome. There are a few resources that are available for folks that are interested in Flowah Fit coaching, life coaching around those 3 lifestyle practices: the garden, the personal movement practice, peaceful consumption, as well as a sounding board in the ear, especially for those young women in life, to quite honestly avoid making some decisions that could really alter and impact, perhaps negatively, the trajectory of your life in your 20s and in your 30s. So I've heard from many folks, if they had had some support or certain conversations, could have saved them years of time and energy and heartbreak. As well as those more seasoned women that are really looking to get out of a rut when it comes to getting into action around what you say you value. And health, mental, emotional health, is high up on that list of priorities, especially today. So welcome. So I do take care to, and you're invited to check out Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. That is a guide that answers a lot of questions for those embarking on consuming or shifting your consumption patterns to whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods that the body and the cells can still recognize as food, with their living water intact, nutrient dense, full of fiber, life force, and vitality. If you are perhaps dealing with a lot of acne, as I have, there is natural beauty, no products, so that all of that money you're spending for all of this precious food, it can also be used on the body template. Right? So we know that it's not toxic, and that is what has allowed my skin to heal is my movement practice, which allows me to sweat and cleanse, and also the foods that I'm eating. I tried everything over the counter, everything natural, and that's what I landed on that continues to give me specific results. So, that being said, I want to get into this conversation, and I invite you, if you're able to get quiet in your quiet moments, because when we're quiet, we can really hear, which is one of the reasons why I really love the early morning hours. I really like to take advantage of the wee hours so that we can tap in, tune into, and hear our own divine, onboard, innate intelligence that each and every one of us as humans was born with when we popped out onto this earth plane. We all have it. We may perhaps not be in the habit of listening to it or turning down all the outside blaring noise that's clogging up the channel so that we can't hear the voice of our own intuition. So that being said, I just wanted to explore, and you can let me know what you think. I've observed that many of us may not be acknowledging the degree of trauma that we've experienced in the past, and how perhaps we're not even acknowledging that it is still affecting us to this day. Trauma such as things witnessed with our parents, violence, things we've been exposed to, perhaps being mishandled. A lot of us may not be really realizing and acknowledging the vast degree and extent to which we have been deeply affected, even perhaps programmed. How deeply we have been affected by what we have been exposed to listen, to hear, to feast our eyes on, all different types of really traumatizing behavior. Making sense of our parents and the world around us at a young age. Quite often, we're being exposed to many things that, when I'm trying to process what we're observing, we're actually processing trauma, and it seems unending. So while many people will come to me as a coach for weight loss or to change their food, quite often folks will stop at the level of the recipe. Folks are focused on the recipe and the exercise, and while those are huge, they give you tremendous access, right? That getting into action is huge, one of the biggest tools in my toolbox. However, there's still a ways to go. Fortunately, consuming whole, fresh living and unprocessed foods, especially in conjunction with the movement, your body has the opportunity to be fed and nourished from a cellular level. Also, our body is then furnished with so many B vitamins, which are excreted when we're encountering stress. Today, we're encountering a lot of stress from the time we turn on these screens, aka computers, even with our cell phones. Cell phones are now operating as a computer. So many of us don't realize that perhaps struggles we watched our mother go through or our parents suffer through. And I want to make a distinction. This is not about trauma bonding, perhaps. No, I went through the same thing too. I'm inviting you to take a moment to observe objectively your narrative, your story on what has happened to you, and to look at yourself and your story, examine it objectively, to see what is it that you can authentically, now as an older adult, what can you look back to reframe your narrative. Not being in denial about things that you've experienced or what has happened to you. Primarily being concerned about your results and reverse engineering, working backwards to see and explore how perhaps you may even be self-sabotaging, questioning. Maybe you want to speak out loud to yourself and ask yourself, where is it coming from? What is at the root of the self-sabotage? And you will likely be amazed at how much intelligence and information we already have. Yet we're moving at such a pace we can't hear it. We don't really hear and see ourselves. So a lot of the trauma and things we've been through definitely is going to come up and show up in the kitchen in terms of our food selection, very starchy foods, fatty foods, just all kinds of greasy, salty foods, things that we're using not for nutrition, but to self-soothe and to medicate and to use to placate ourselves from stress. This is something to really be mindful of. You may even want to whip out your journal to do some journaling so that you can sit with yourself. As things come up, you can sit with it, allow feelings, emotions to come up and observe them and ask yourself, you're invited to ask your own divine onboard innate intelligence some questions. And what have you got to lose? To see what bubbles up internally, not even necessarily speaking it out loud. You have an option, yet just listening from the inside to see what solutions come up for you without making yourself bad or wrong, not shaming yourself, because shame is a surefire way to keep a lot of our ineffective choices and behaviors to keep them present. So I'd love to hear from you. Are you able to, or have you ever explored sitting through difficult emotions? Are you able to slow down enough to catch it or to observe when you are triggered? That is a word that is coming up a lot in these times. Triggered. Are you noticing when you're triggered? Are you able to catch it and to watch it and to ask the triggering questions rather than be upset or angry or make ourselves wrong? We can ask our intelligence, our onboard divine innate intelligence. We can ask it some questions. You can even ask your overeating some questions. You can ask you're being triggered to anger or to pop off on somebody. You can ask your behaviors and your emotions. You can ask some questions, and you may be amazed at the solutions and the insight that you come up with. Again, we are all born with a divine onboard innate intelligence. So I look forward to seeing you over on the Body-Culinary Discord. There is a link and an invitation so you can fill out an application. There is early morning deep breathing and relaxation and goal setting, and we usually do vigorous joyous movement, aka exercise, at 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, and that leaves you a lot of time to prepare your healthy meals for yourself. So I'm inviting you to have a deep, really good, restful sleep so that you can plug in and recharge. And if you're able to regulate your breathing, to think about some of the questions that we've talked about today. So we pray a great rest of the day. Well, it's going into the late hours. I'm inviting you to a really sweet, peaceful, calm rest. And we'll check in on the other side. All right, speak with you soon.